Good evening, y'all. How's it going? What should we talk about today? I'm thinking let's talk about cooking. Trying to go back to cooking for the family, making things again. So, growing up, I loved to cook. I've loved it for years. To this day, I still try to cook 5 to 6 meals a week. Sometimes we don't get it, but I always try. And I like to mix things up. I like to find what I have in the house and utilize it. Say I've got a can of black beans, got some Polish sausage in the freezer, and I've got some beef scraps that I cut off of iRound. Well, with that, you can make quite a few different things. So, you can make a kind of a refried bean with corn and the sausage in it. 2 to 3 servings. Or you could take those beef trimmings and make a stock out of it. Put them in some water, maybe roast it, then put it in water. I tend to use an Instapot. Sorry, I was trying to keep my pipe going. But put it in an Instapot. You can have a nice broth in, 2 hours. Once it's done, you skim off all the fat that you want. Take that, put the corn, the beans, and then dice up the sausage. Find some type of noodle, or if you're feeling frisky, make your own noodles. And they don't have to be perfect. It's about the experience of cooking at home. And you just make it like that. My family loves it. Now, one thing I try to use is we've got a couple animals on the farm. Right now, none of them we have that are for slaughter. So we don't have any meat animals. But we do have a handful of chickens, enough for us to eat on and to where we could sell the eggs to try and pay for the feed. So I try to utilize the eggs as much as I can and make things that are egg based. One thing I've been doing lately is making kind of a frittata styled meal where I'll take, fresh vegetables from the garden or, frozen vegetables, and I'll mix it in and I'll just cook it in the oven. And that's, protein and veggies. And it's also filling. Not to mention, it tastes good. And then something else that a lot of people don't realize is it's really easy to make your own spaghetti sauce at home. If you just buy either canned tomatoes or even tomato sauce, you can easily make a delicious tomato sauce. And it's so simple. If you take, some onions, some garlic, basil, oregano, normal seasonings that you like in your spaghetti, add all of that into a tomato sauce, and just a splash of whatever wine you enjoy drinking. It makes a wonderful spaghetti sauce. And it's much cheaper than buying pre-made spaghetti sauces. Because a can of tomatoes is cheaper than going and buying a can of mushroom and onion spaghetti sauce. And it's got a bunch of preservatives and all of that in it. Whereas canned tomatoes, they don't. They've got a few little preservatives in them. And it would be better if you made tomato sauce at home, but I'm talking ease here, not striking off preservatives altogether. But if you look at the back of spaghetti sauces, and if they have more than just tomato in it, they have got so many preservatives. Whereas when you do the stuff at home and add all of those flavors in, it doesn't have the preservatives. And you can adjust the taste the way you like it. If you want more garlic like we do, add more garlic. If you want it to be more basil heavy, you can do that. So, and then you don't have to be a wonderful chef to make these things. Most of the meals I make, I get home, say 5:30. I'd say 70% of the recipes I make, I have done and on the table by 6:15. So it doesn't take a lot. You just got to know how to do it. And I can't recommend enough trying to get your children cooking at an early age. I've tried to start teaching my son the ins and out of cooking and figuring out recipes for himself. And a lot of people are probably going to find it weird, but one way I learned how to utilize spices is I sat down with all the spices that I had in my cabinet, and I got a couple different paper plates, and I put a little bit of each and every spice on all of the plates. And then I went through and I tried all of them. I figured out the taste of each individual one. Now, there's a lot of them I wouldn't recommend. They don't taste good by themselves. But in recipes, when you mix them with other things, they add a flavor that's good. Take cumin, for example. Do not like it by itself. But when you add it into recipes and you smell it cooking, you might think, Indian food, chili, anything. But I sat down with my son and we went through our cabinet and tried everything, be it, just plain salt and pepper to cayenne chili powder. I had him try everything. And then I asked him, which ones of these do you want to try together? Which ones do you want to put off into this dish and try together to see what would make a good taste? And he gave me a selection of 5 spices. I think it was salt, pepper, lemon pepper, oregano, and garlic. And I thought the lemon pepper was going to be weird in it. But it actually worked. And I still use that combination on things like chicken. Because it came out pretty phenomenal. But I would have never thought of that combination had my son not thought of it. So, they come up with some interesting ideas. Maybe next time you go to cook something and you want to experiment and try something new, maybe get your kids involved. But I guess that's all I've got on that for tonight. If you got any topics you want me to talk about, just leave it down in the comments. Any pointers on how I can improve with the videos, just let me know. Don't forget to like the video, please. Y'all have a good night.